Today's video, we're gonna go through all this stuff I've been buying. Now, I realize the KX250F, I rode it, but I still need to figure out shimming. I need to re-shim the intake valve after replacing the cam. My bad, I should have replaced that. I rode it, but I need to re-shim the intake valve after replacing the cam. My bad, I should have replaced that. And this thing here, originally I had anticipated using the older style front box and the older style front fender. That will not work. The front bumper itself, the metal portion at the bottom, can't use it. So I ended up having to buy a new storage lid, which is on its way and should be here Thursday. I got the wheel on it, drove it, rides great. So we're good to go there. Frame's welded up. This was supposed to be shop vlog 16, but yeah, I bought a whole bunch of stuff this week. Well, so we need to go through the Suzukis. I bought those. The YFZ, the Bayous, and the Ranger I bought last night. So let's check them out. So we're gonna start with the Ranger. Now it's no Danger Ranger, but this is a one owner, well sorta, one family owned machine. It is a 2002 with a title, 367 hours, and I got it for $800. I did try to get it for $600, but $800 was a fair deal. It's a gamble and figure out what's up with it. Now, one problem we definitely have at the moment is the fact that there's something up with the ignition. Now, this battery's not all the way in here, but it's good enough. I actually happened to take a brand new battery with me because I had the battery come in earlier that day for the Sportsman 500. But something's up with this ignition because if you take and you turn it on, you turn it and that's all the way. You know, normally these are supposed to go like that. And then you press the brake. A little bit of a problem there. So we're gonna swap this ignition out real quick. Yesterday I checked it out a little bit, but overall, I mean, this is a pretty dang clean unit for a 2002. I mean, the battery tray's not broken, engine's pretty clean. All of this, I mean, the only stuff that's not nice is these holes, which I don't know, I might do something with. Probably end up taking that off. There's a grill in the back of it. There were some free grills, so I was like, hey, let's grab them. And tires are in good shape. This doesn't need all the bearings and bushings. The only like for real damage I found on it that I can't do nothing with is this melted spot right here. Overall, it's actually a clean unit. They put mud flaps on there, which is actually a fantastic idea. All of it's nice clean. So I was willing to pay a little bit more and gamble with it, being that it's such a clean unit. But I have an ignition sitting right over here from one of the Magnums I tore down. And OEM ignition. Don't use the Chinese pieces of shits. All right, so got the ignition replaced. No sticky. None of the lights are working for that though. It's interesting. So we're gonna figure out what's up with the spark now. We're not getting any indicator lights. And I know for sure it's not sending to that now. So see what's up with the spark. And we're going to figure out if this might actually have something to do with it. All right, so two things this thing is doing. It's not showing any gear position. So we're gonna try out swapping this gear position indicator. I doubt that this is the problem. I'm pretty sure it'll still start without the gear position reading neutral, whatever. I don't remember any machine I've ever had given an issue there, but it is a possibility, so we're gonna give it a shot. And I got this here, ECU, we're gonna give it a shot before I bust out the multimeter and just start testing everything, because honestly, this is quick and easy. So let's see if this does it. So the gear position sensor changed absolutely nothing. We're still not getting any gear positions. So I'm gonna try swapping this ECU out real quick. Since we've got one, I'm pretty sure the guy I bought this from told me he swapped this out. Oh shit, that will not work. All right, so I practice what I preach, and it is 2 days later. I got to a point on the Ranger where I determined that I think it needs a rectifier, which kind of Really throws off everything I thought I knew about rectifiers. But I ordered a rectifier. I ordered a CDI as well, just in case. We'll just give it a shot. He said he put a new one on it, but it doesn't look new. So I want to give that a shot, just because the way it's acting. I'm not getting any gear indicator switch. Stator tested fine, and we're not getting any spark. So the only other option really could potentially be the harness, and I want to try everything else out before we jump on the harness. But when I say I practice what I preach, when you see a good deal come up, you gotta pow. I've been driving all week, it feels like. And I picked up this John Deere Gator just as soon as I was trying to finish that up. Here's the John Deere Gator, 150 bucks I paid for this thing. It is rough, and this is probably not going to be a unit that I put a lot of work and effort into, just because it was a rental at one point, and then it was ran on a farm. So that means two things. It is clapped out, always. Farm units and rentals get treated like shit. Picked this thing up in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. And the lady, she had no idea what was wrong with it. I have no idea if the motor turns over. I don't know if, honestly, I don't know anything about it. The only thing I know is I ran the VIN and it's not stolen. It is a John Deere Gator HPX, which for what I paid for it, that is dirt cheap. And I started looking around online, and turns out that this is the same motor, possibly. I believe it's the same motor that comes in the Mule 610, which kind of underpowered, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it kind of looks like it. Does look like we're missing that right there, that yoke. I've never seen one look quite like this. I don't know if that's the failure point. This thing may run and fire right up. All right, so we're gonna start this beauty out with a side of some action sauce. There's corn in there. Interesting. It's clean on the inside. Since it's got such a long way to go, we're gonna give it a lot. We got power, but nothing to the starter. She did tell me that there were a lot of men on this that worked on her ranch that pulled parts, and she would have no idea which all parts have been pulled. But we're turning over the key and we're getting nothing. Well then, let's leave the key on. And where's the starter? Oh yeah, it's on the bottom of these. Motor turns over. Feels good. So, this thing will go over to auction. Most likely go over to auction. Could potentially, I don't know. Maybe I'll find something else to do with it. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not fixing this. This stuff with the John Deere on it, it's too expensive. John Deere's too proud of their parts. I don't have any interest in messing with that. I think that's what I'm gonna do with this here YFZ as well. I'm probably just gonna clean this thing up, get it all nice and shiny, put these side covers back on, and sell it. I really don't feel like having a money pit on that thing. So let's see if either one of these glorious shit boxes will run. So this Suzuki and this other one sit next to me. These are the two that I only paid 100 bucks for. Not that I have a whole lot of faith in them. That was my number that worst case I could at least resell them for each, obviously. Resell them and turn some profit on them. This one, she did not have a title to, but the other one, the lady I bought them from, she bought it new. All right, let's see, we're gonna turn over. It's a good sign, turns over. Would you look at that? Their filter doesn't even look that bad. So that's a good sign. I mean, this thing very well could just be carb clean kind of bike. So power's still on. We're gonna hit her with some of this Soul Action juice. Any brand, doesn't matter. I'll send it with whatever. I wish these cans would spray upside down though. Well, get out of there, bro. That's a runner. This one's 4-wheel drive, so that's a plus. So today I'm gonna go ahead and order a battery. I feel like I should order an air filter, but I'm gonna be honest with you, that thing's in fantastic shape, so I'm probably not going to. A battery, and let's see, is the petcock seized up? No. So, a battery. Is there even any gas in this thing? That don't even smell that damn bad. It doesn't smell like real bad gas or anything. And I guess I've never had one of these that was in decent shape. Look at that. A little dongle will tell you how much gas you got in there. We are right at reserves, so let's see. I want to try this one again. Put her on reserve. We'll put it on prime first. Now this is a pneumatic pump type system. So this right here will pump it pop, 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 with the carb when you're trying to turn it over. Look at that. I think this thing's running on its own at this point. We'll put it on reserve. And I'm going to stick this, I'm going to put some more Action Juice in there. And I'm going to put this air filter back on because it is a little bit dirty in this air box. And I've had issues in the past where something didn't smoke and started smoking afterwards. Yeah, that's going to need a carb job for sure. No big deal though. So I'm going to call that 2 wins for this week. So the John Deere, that may have some like issues, but it says John Deere, so it's worth a lot of money. I don't really know what to tell you about the plus side of it, other than the fact that since it's a John Deere, I know for sure I can get at least $1,200 for that at the auction. Non-running. I've sold a couple side-by-sides there now that were equivalently the same condition. One of them said Bobcat on the side of it, so it is sold for $1,400. People pay for names, people pay for cosmetics. It's not that beat up. I mean, it's a little beat up, but it's not that beat up. The YFZ for $250. I mean, since it's got a clean title, I mean, if you needed that head, that's a steal of a deal, steal of a deal. If I parted that thing out, I make my money back and profit on the head alone. That's how easy. And then the bottom end is just a whole $1,000 extra. So that's really not that big a deal. And quite frankly, I need to sell that because I look at it and I'm like, man, you should fix this for yourself. You should fix this for yourself. Like, no, if you're gonna do it, do fuel injected. And then I just get bored of it anyways. It'd just be a money pit and I'd never ride it. And then we got this here right here, winner. I hate these, but this one looks like it's gonna be a winner. You know what's crazy about these old Suzukis? And these are the only ones I've ever seen on 5-lug. 5-lug on the rear, 4-lug on the front. I can't remember what this one was like a 95 or something like that. And that one was a 90, that's a 01, this was a 95 or a 91. Yeah, I don't remember, doesn't matter. I'll look at the VIN before I sell it and check it. This one right here, we'll see, it is not quite, I will say that's in better shape. Being 4-wheel drive, running and driving, throw a battery on it, carb clean. That thing will bring $1,000 at auction. I mean, it's ugly as hell, but it's a 4-wheel drive quad. It's little. I can hang on to it till hunting season if I need to. This here Prairie, I'm gonna go ahead and take it to auction too, because I'm tired of looking at it, and it'll bring some money. I mean, if it brings $100, it brings $100. I mean, I already made my money back on that thing. I sold a handful of parts off of it. So we're gonna do the same thing on this one here. These cables are barely gonna be long enough, if they even are. We got power. We got power, and this thing sounds like it might run. I have the title to this too. Now this air filter does not look good. Something has been in there having a good old time. Let's pull that out. Hopefully whatever's in there is not in there anymore. Try to get a bunch of that out of there. Okay, try this one. What'd you think? Before I started, you think it's gonna run? No, run. I think it's gonna run. Honestly, it sounded like it run. Hit it. What's that? Dang, hold on. I got an idea. Air filter from the other one. Hey, now you don't be like that. Aw, man. I want to ride it now. I bet I flooded this one. No big deal, we know she runs. You heard that as well as I did. That thing started up and started purring on its own, which is pretty good considering she said these things have been sitting for quite some time. Now this one's only a 2-wheel drive 250. The one behind me is a 4x4 300. We're gonna order 2 air filters. This one definitely needs a petcock. I'm gonna order a petcock just in case. I'd rather order it and have it and be like, oh man, I ordered a petcock for no reason, than don't order it and wish that I had it and waiting around for it. So that one turned out, that's gonna be a pretty good deal. So that's a plus. I wasn't expecting them both to run. I should be able to drop maybe 50 bucks worth of parts. Hopefully the tires can slime and run because they're weird sizes that I don't have, nor that I want to buy, and they're probably something that would be hard to track down. So hopefully that'll work out. These will be some cheap quads. I'll put them online, probably like $9.50 a piece. Just let them go. Or maybe I'll just send them to auction and see what they bring. This right here is the jewel that saved the Ranger 400. And it is parts for 2 other Sportsmans. One of those being the 2013 500 that I thought I was gonna use plastics for. And then this gem right here, this thing has been wrecked. And it's obviously had a little bit of a rough life. This is a 2005. I'm definitely gonna need some bushings and some bearings and some general TLC on this thing. I rode this on the trailer, believe it or not. The dude that I bought it from, his son watches the channel. So if you're watching this now, shout out, man. This one will be, I think it's gonna end up being red. But I got some parts for here, cause you got a few bent pieces right here, which this one can supply. Luckily, I don't have to buy a bunch of bolts. They had already replaced the radiator with an aftermarket aluminum one. I'm probably gonna have to replace this entire whole front end piece because if you look at it, you can kind of see how it's tweaked in and bent down there. I drove it on the trailer, but the electric start's jacked up on it. This doesn't have a whole lot of hours and miles on it either. That is, I can't remember. I think that's the hours. 136 hours. And then, oh no, 723 hours. That does have a lot of hours on it. 4,900 miles. I guess I thought it didn't have very many hours on it. It's got a shit ton. That's all right. This thing been rode hard. Ain't too bad. But listen to that motor down there. I'll be honest with you, that sounds like the Bendix. It's gonna need a few other things. I don't know if I'll do a whole lot to try to make this thing like real nice, just because yes, it is high mileage, and honestly, it's on the rougher side. It's one of those quads, the more you look at it, the more WTF you get out of it. So like I've never seen this before. I don't know what this shock is from, but that is not normal. Does it compress? Does it compress? Come on. Dang. I hope that's not just like a stiff piece. I'll be damned it is. I don't know what that is, but that is not a shock. No shock body in that. I don't really. Hopefully I have another one of those. Honestly, yeah, I should. I have another one. Yeah, it's right there. I don't have to use the whole entire assembly. I could just use that knuckle piece. And I'm pretty sure I have what the other half of it's still sitting up there at the shop. And then what else was it on this thing that was rough? That right there. There's a bolt in that. This will probably be something I just kind of whip together, make it mechanically sound, and out the door. Should be able to make some money on it. The hard part that is, a lot of people don't realize people buy off of cosmetics more than anything. So when it comes down to it, you know, they're like, this thing is ugly, it's all wrecked looking. But then they'll go out and buy something that's nice looking and it's ragged out. Because I saw this thing sit online for a couple days. There was another one that got posted that they were like, he said the motor's blown, needs a complete rebuild. He wanted $1,900 for it. It was a 2013. The only thing it had going for it was a nice clean quad. It was snorkeled through the air box, through the front box, and it was lifted on rims. Now I saw it posted a couple days later by somebody else that said needs carb work. That's why you be careful when you buy mechanically sound. Don't buy from flippers. I'll go ugly all day long and I can fix that stuff a lot easier. Thanks for watching. Y'all be sure to stay tuned next week for Shop Vlog 16. Maybe we'll be actually in the shop instead of just out buying all of this quality units that need so much work. This weekend, I'm gonna be trying to knock out as much of this stuff as possible. I do not want a four-wheeler graveyard, and that's what'll happen if I don't knock this stuff out quick. See what's in the shop next week.